What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again. And this is New Amsterdam Season 2, Episode 15 discussion slash review. Oh boy. I honestly don't know what to say about this episode, man. There were some aspects that I really loved and really enjoyed, and it just showcased such a great part of New Amsterdam. And then there was this whole other half of this episode that I was like, what were they thinking in the writer's room? I don't know. Now, me, myself, I'm an only child. So I never had the sibling thing to compete with. I had cousins, and I hung out with cousins and everything. And like my mom has like 6 brothers and sisters, and like 4 on her mom's side, and like 6 on her dad's side. So there's a bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them. And then I got like a bunch of cousins. My grandfather, I think altogether it was like 30 of us cousins. That's a lot of cousins, right? But the funny thing is, like, especially like first cousins, we're all first cousins. The funny thing is, I don't know, man, about this episode. I just don't. The whole epidemic, the opioid epidemic part of this episode was really great. It was really well crafted, and I really enjoyed it. And it showed the seriousness of the opioid crisis in the world today. And I love how they showcased and handled that. And Max teaming up with like the other medical directors of other hospitals and training his ED to be prepared for this type of thing, to help them in the situations when they occur, and shut down, like kind of go up against a strike or whatever against the Nyler company, and have these other doctors that was over prescribing people try to cut back. And I loved all of that aspect, and we know that came from the CEO, or the head board lady, telling him to do whatever he needed to do to shut the opioid crisis part down and just save the world. Normally she's all against Max breaking the rules and doing whatever he has to do like that, but she really emphasized that this episode, that she wanted him to do whatever it took to shut it all down and crush him. And we see why at the end of the episode, because she had a personal stake in the matter, and you can tell because she acted very different this episode than she normally is. She's normally like calm, cool, and collected, and just kind of angry at Max. But you can tell she was hurt this episode, and you can see that. And I love that because we got to see a different side of her, and then we understood where she was coming from, because the opioid crisis is such a real and terrifying thing. So I love that aspect of this episode, and I love Max fighting the Nyler company, him teaming up with the other medical directors. Granted, when he first met with them, it didn't go his way, but at the end of the episode, it really kind of slided his way, and I love that because he decided not to go with the Nyler company again, and he ripped up his contract, and then they started to ice him out on other medical supplies that the company happens to make. And another medical director told him that, she was like, well, that's not right, because that's not business. They put other patients at risk, and that's a shakedown. They tried to shake you down, and that at that moment, that could happen to any other hospital as well. So she sided with Max, and I feel like they didn't show it, but others are going to side with Max as well, because he took his assistant's photo. She told him about her sister and everything, and he put her photo up on a Nyler wing wall, and then all of a sudden other people started doing it as well, to show that like these people's family and lives are destroyed because of the opioid crisis, and they are just pocketing and profiting off of it, and they're not even trying to help create a solution to help get these people off of it, or not prescribe them as much or anything. They weren't helping the cause. They were just feeding the cause. And it was nice to see that, because it's such a real thing in real life, and it was so well handled in this episode. Now, the rest of the episode, to me, besides the whole Sharpe thing, felt like it was extra, and it was second tier at best, if you ask me. The whole thing with Bloom and her mother, it was a nice conclusion, because she finally told her mother what she was feeling and what she was carrying for all these years. But it felt like they didn't really focus on it. They kind of just showed that her mother told us that her mother wanted to have dinner with her, then showed her having dinner with her mother at the end, because she felt some type of way because she lost the patient that she sent home from the ER. Then we have VJ and Reynolds working with a patient that it all seemed extra compared to the the opioid part of this episode, and that's what I'm saying. To me, it still was a good episode, but that just felt, all of the other stuff just felt extra. Then we have, with VJ and Reynolds' patient, he's having all these typical problems that they couldn't really solve, and then VJ realized that it comes from the bends from, scuba gear and trying to go scuba diving and stuff, and the dude's wife was like, no, my husband don't do this, and my husband don't do that, you wrong. And the thing is, like, we all keep secrets. Let's be real, whether it's big or a minor secret. We all keep secrets from the people that we love. And that's the sad thing, because, like, when people go to the doctors or something like that, they try to continue to keep these secrets hidden because they don't want their loved ones to know. But at this time, the dude was passed out, so he couldn't really tell. But you get what I'm saying. Like, everybody doesn't know everything about everybody. You can love these people for 20, 40, 50 years, and there's still something that they're keeping from you. Not everything, because they love you, but there's something that they're keeping from you. And then they don't know their case resolved and nice and all happy, like, because it was the Benz. Then we have Helen, aka Sharpe, and her whole Castro fiasco. Now, at that moment, I felt like Helen was doing the right thing, because Helen cares for her patients. We all know that. That's one thing we love about her. And I just felt like she went about it the wrong way, because I felt like Castro was going to keep an eye on her, because I suspected it. Castro is falsifying records. We found this out, and that's going to happen in the preview of next week's episode. But we found that out at the ending of this episode, that she falsified records to get these people into the trial so she can put them in the trial and test on them and make more money. I honestly don't know. We'll figure out, I think March 10th, I think that's when we're going to figure it out. But we knew Castro was garbage from the jump. This was nothing new. We knew that she set Helen up. We knew that she called the board lady on Helen. We knew all of this from jump. And for us to finally see it come to fruition, and for Sharpe to see it as well, that Helen is pure garbage, because she's padding these files and changing all the stats and the medical records and everything. And this is stuff to put her in jail. She ain't gonna be the oncology chair anymore. Helen can get her job back. Let's be real. That's what we all wanted anyway. I think that's all for the cases. Then we have Max and Alice. She asked him to babysit Bobby, and then, like, they have this whole little thing because Max is going through some stuff with everything that's going on with the Nyla wing, and Reynolds leaving, because then he tells Reynolds that Reynolds felt guilty for just up and telling Max that he's leaving. But also we find out why Max was kind of shunning him this episode. It's because Max felt like he can't lose anybody else. He doesn't want to lose anybody else, and it's completely understandable. But we see him babysitting for Alice. And at the end of the episode, she comes to pick up Bobby, and they share a kiss. Now, I talked to some other people, and huge shout out to you guys, about Alice and Max. And we were having a discussion and everything, and they told me that it'd be okay to have Max and Alice in a relationship, and as long as, like, they get it out of the system, and, like, finally be able to move on from their deceased loved one, and that clear the way for him and Sharpe. I'm totally fine with that. If you need to date Alice and fool around with Alice for a little while to get your system back in gear to find love again with Sharpe, I'm okay, Max. You go handle your business, partner. You take care of Alice for now, and then when it's time to come and be happy and love forever, you go on over to Sharpe. Okay, just being real. Then we have one moment that I kind of wanted to skip over the whole time, because this is the one part of the episode that I did not like. Everything else felt kind of extra compared to the opioid part of the episode. That's what they really heavily focused on. But this part felt like it didn't need to be there, and I don't know what the writers were thinking when they included this in the episode. We have Iggy with two patients kind of see him for counseling, and because he's a psychiatrist. And it turns out they're half brother and sister, and they were engaged to be married, and they done slept together and everything else. But they didn't know it at first. But now that they do know it, they decided to continue to get married. They're not going to have kids because Iggy told them that is not a viable option for them to have kids, because, they're half related. But I just don't see, and it's not even the thing about, like, well, that's not right, or, in the world's eyes, it's not right. Because I'm going to be real. You do what you want to do. That is your life. If you want to jump off a bridge, you jump off a bridge. If you want to date 12 dudes and 15 cows and 12 dogs, and you got this whole weird bestiality, animal relationship, love type thing going on, that is on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But it's just, and it's not even a thing about it. Just, it's, for one thing, it's wrong, man. I mean, like, I couldn't see myself doing it, man. I mean, I got a half sister, and man, she's attractive. I don't even see, even if I didn't, if I if I had a half sister out there in the world, and all of a sudden I came in contact with this girl, we started dating and everything, cool, fine, and we later find out that we're halfway related of anything, not just sister, cousin, anything like that. But she's so fine though. That at that point it does not matter. We're related. At that point, she's not attractive anymore. She became one of the ugliest women in the world to me because she's related to me now. And I'm not bashing them, I mean, because to each his own. But I'm just saying they put this on live television and they showed this out and showcased this for the world to see that is not all right, man. That is not okay. They're half siblings. They share the same DNA. Granted, half of it, but it's still the same DNA. You guys know I don't ever really kind of just come on here and try to preach my morals or share my ideals, because that's not what I wanted my channel to be, because I feel like everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You do you, and I'll do me. But I'm just saying, come on, dude, you know that's not right. Once you found out that you were related, at that point, you're like, yeah, well, I love you. I still love you. But we can't be together. And the girl was like that the whole time this episode. And then somehow Iggy convinced her that, she still had feelings for old dude. And then they walked out the hospital happily holding hands. And that's the only part of this episode I did not like. I just didn't. And it's not even anything about, like how I was raised or anything like that. But it's just the fact that, dude, it's just not right. I could never see me looking at a relative and be like, yeah, she fine. I want to date her. It's a cousin, or I'm an only child, so I don't have anything about siblings, but I can look at any other relative and be like, yeah, man, I really want to date her. I don't know. That's what I hated about this episode. That's just me. And, I'm just saying, I just felt like that wasn't needed in this episode. They could have wrote anything else in the storyline besides that, man. But this is what incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button. You can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. Peace out.